Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Friday night, August 4th, live stream for studentloanjustice.org. If you're new to the group, welcome. We're glad that you found us. Tell everybody you know about this group. Believe it or not, it may not look like it, but this group is the center of the universe in the fight for student loan justice. And that means two things. Number one, getting bankruptcy rights returned to the loans. When we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned, they're going to have to do the second thing we're fighting for, and that is cancel federally owned student loans by executive order. They're going to have to. But it all starts with bankruptcy, guys, and we've been doing this for 18 years, so you know. We've looked very deeply at this problem, and we have supreme confidence that as long as the right of bankruptcy remains gone, we're going to be begging Joe Biden or the next president forever to do nice things. And what we'll get is like the nonsense that we've just seen with the Biden's lame, feckless, I think probably designed to fail $10,000 or $20,000 student loan cancellation gimmick. So you came to the right place if you care about actually, not pretend, actually solving the student loan problem. So tonight, a couple of announcements. I've got to lead off with a rather urgent plea for donations, guys. I'm sorry about that. We survive on very little money from typically distressed student loan borrowers. This week, we still need to raise around $300 by the end of the week to cover our email expense. So we lose our ability to send email to tens of thousands of people if we can't meet this expense. So if you care about this group and you want us to win, just please donate so I can shut up about it. I suck at fundraising. Thank you. And by the way, thanks to everybody who's been kicking in lately. It's always difficult for us, but just please help. Your personal gift is what we need to not disappear at this time. So, a couple other announcements. Oh, congratulations, Jackie Abram in Texas. Jackie was able to get, I think, her 21st letter to the editor published in the Dallas Morning News in Texas. There was a bunch of letters about student loans. Most of them were like, pay your loans. Why should my tax dollars pay for your loans? And Jackie's letter stood out like a breath of fresh air, like a diamond among cow pellets or something. So good on Jackie. And I would only challenge you all. Where is your letter to the editor? We're asking everybody. I mean, why should I even have to ask? You should be getting a letter published in your local newspaper calling either for the return of bankruptcy protections or student loan cancellation or both. That first thing, bankruptcy, is way more important though. So there's a lot going on right now, guys. The swamp is freaked out right now because a major credible presidential candidate from the Republican side, Ron DeSantis, has included the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans in his presidential campaign. That's very big news, guys. We've never seen a Republican candidate for president ever do that before. Maybe with a tiny throwaway exception from Jeb Bush, who just a little throwaway line that meant nothing. No. Ron DeSantis made it one of his critical points in his domestic policy thing to return bankruptcy to student loans. And I think that freaked out people all across the spectrum. The Democrats obviously didn't like it. I think the Republicans hated it, but I think more than anything, the swamp, the student loan swamp, these unelected bureaucrats, other power brokers, NGOs, all this viper's nest of predators and parasites in and around Washington, D.C., that really freaked them out. Bankruptcy is the kryptonite for the student loan program, guys. It really is. The Founding Fathers called for uniform bankruptcy rights in the Constitution. And thankfully, we're finally seeing a groundswell of people other than us, other than this group, calling for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. So this thing Ron DeSantis did was very big. And remember, here's the political. we're a fiercely nonpartisan group. We hate the Republicans. We hate the Democrats in different ways. It's kind of a good cop, bad cop thing. But politically, here's kind of the lay of the land right now. The Democrats have been promising to return bankruptcy to student loans for many years, decades, in fact. Several decades now that I'm thinking about it. Certainly since 2006. They had all the power they needed last session. They had the House, they had the Senate, they had the presidency last session. They had a great bankruptcy bill. It was bipartisan. It would have passed with flying colors through the Senate and the House. They chose to betray us and let that bill die. They abandoned it. I mean, we tried so hard, guys. If you've been on this group for any length of time, hopefully you remember how hard we tried last year to get Dick Durbin to get that bill out of committee and up for a vote in the full Senate. And the fact that he didn't, it was just a vicious, blatant betrayal by the Democrats. And I have to say, Dick Durbin, I mean, you know, he's one of our biggest champions in the Senate. But, you know, this all comes back to him. It was his bill. He was chairman of the Judiciary Committee. He did not pass it. So the Democrats really, as a party, really betrayed us. So now we have a Republican presidential candidate, Ron DeSantis, calling for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans, plus a clawback from the colleges. That was part of our Senate bill as well. So the Democrats are very worried. And I, for example, am being attacked viciously on Twitter by DNC operatives or, you know, strong Democratic supporters. I don't know who they are. You never know on Twitter. But, you know, really, I think it's the powers that be, sort of the invisible hand in Washington, D.C., the I don't know, you call it the deep state, the, you know, permanent Washington, the unelected bureaucrats, the power brokers, the NGOs, etc. And they are really not happy about this new thing. And you'll notice Ron DeSantis' announcement, it was huge news, but only a handful of papers and magazines actually reported on it. So Politico reported it. Newsweek reported it. Good for them. I think Yahoo picked it up as a regurgitation of Newsweek. But that was about it. We didn't see it in the Washington Post. We didn't see it in the New York Times. We didn't see it in Forbes magazine. Forbes is the worst news source for student loans, by the way. They are just absolutely corrupted and disgusting and sickening, but that's another story. We did not see the mainstream media make a huge deal about Ron DeSantis's thing. So, you know, just parenthetically, you really have to look at what they don't say in the media, probably more than what they do say, to understand really how so many quiet forces are against us. It's, you know, a sin by omission, or whatever you want to call it, crime by omission or something. So I'm looking for your, if you have any questions or comments, throw them up on Twitter and or Facebook. So there's that. So that really is the biggest news. We've got new momentum now, guys. You know, we're asking everyone to get us into meeting, including you, to get us into a meeting with your House representative. And we've been doing these meetings on a daily basis for the past quite a few months now. And I definitely noticed this past week, we have a lot more oomph in our conversations now that Ron DeSantis did that, because the staffers on Capitol Hill, they understand, I think, at least many, the smarter ones do, maybe the older ones, they understand the importance of bankruptcy, and they know that it lies at the heart of this problem. And they are taking us very much more seriously now than they were even a week ago. So good on Ron DeSantis. And I can only say, if you happen to be called by a polling company, or you find yourself doing some political poll, answering some political poll, huge thumbs up for Ron DeSantis. I truly hope that he surges in the polls against Donald Trump here over the coming week or two. That would be a very good validation that he's exactly on the right side. But, we don't need polls to tell us that. There's 38 million distressed student loan borrowers in the country, and around 70% of them, believe it or not, it's true, 70% are either Republican or independent. So only like 30% are Democratic. So that's true. There's a massive untapped, I would say politically untethered voting bloc out there of people who are freaking out about their student loans. 38 of the 42 million federal student loan borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans even before the pandemic. And we vote, make no mistake, we vote in far greater proportions than average. So Ron DeSantis is smart, and I applaud him. And I hope he surges in the polls. So other stuff we're seeing from the swamp. So now supposedly Joe Biden is going to come out with what he should have done in the first place on cancellation, which is to use the Higher Education Act, Section 1082. I think it's 11 U.S. code, or no, 20 U.S. code, 1082, Section A, paragraph 6. So 1082A6. That is the authority that Biden should have used in the first place to cancel student loans. So supposedly he's going to be rolling out a new and improved loan cancellation, but already we're seeing the swamp creatures throw cold water on it. When I say swamp creatures, I mean people like Mark Kantrowitz, Kantrowitz. We've known Mark for many, many years. In fact, I used to consider Mark a friend of mine. We have a very long and deep relationship with that guy. But I have to tell you, dudes, Mark Kantrowitz exposed his fealty to the student loan swamp. He's done it many times over the years, but he's really gotten bad over the past, since COVID hit during the pandemic. He is adamantly opposed to student loan cancellation by executive order. So the new word from the swamp media is that, Biden's going to do another loan cancellation, but he's going to greatly limit it, as if it didn't suck in the first place. We were not impressed with the $10,000 or $20,000 nonsense in the first place. That doesn't help the worst hurt borrowers, etc. But yeah, so I think we'll see something. What we're going to see, if I'm not wrong, my prediction, and I'm usually right on these things, this whole thing is political in the first place. The whole 10,000 thing was all political, all a ploy to get votes. I frankly don't think that Joe Biden ever even really wanted to cancel student loans by executive order. And I think they purposely sabotaged that cancellation in the expectation that the Supreme Court would knock it down. I really believe that. And so I think this next thing will be another one of those things, although they're going to have to draw it out for more than 9 months. They're going to have to draw it out through the next election, which is November of next year. So I think they're biding their time. Biden is biding his time. And I think they'll roll out something that's more limited in scope, which is just a slap in the face in the first place. And here's the key thing, guys. Donald Trump canceled loans multiple times. He did it before the pandemic when there was no national emergency by executive order for 25,000 disabled veterans. And he essentially just did it. And then he announced it. Or he announced it the same day or something. There was no lawsuit. There was no uproar. And then when COVID hit and he did the first repayment pause by executive order, that was canceling debt by executive order. And he just did it. And that's what happened. And there was no lawsuit. There was no uproar. Joe Biden, if he really wanted to cancel loans, he could just do it. He could tell the secretary, cancel the loans right now. Then he could announce that they had canceled it. And yeah, if somebody wanted to sue him, if they wanted to maybe impeach him or something, yeah, maybe that would happen. Who knows? It could be controversial. But the point is, if the president really wanted to cancel loans, he would do it, like Donald Trump did. And so anyways, we're not impressed. Whatever we see the Biden people roll out, we're not going to trust it. It'll probably be challenged again. And it's just just disgusting. The whole thing is just disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. This only underscores the importance of us getting the leverage of bankruptcy back, dudes. So fucking important. If you're new to the group, you're probably sitting there going, I don't want to file for bankruptcy. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. That is not the point. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy is not important. The thing that is supremely important is us getting the leverage of bankruptcy returned. Only with that leverage returned can we expect any sort of meaningful student loan cancellation. Whatever you want to see happen with your loans, as a matter of fact. Maybe you want to break on interest. Maybe you want the Department of Education to administer the lame-ass income-driven repayment programs in good faith to where most people make it through rather than 90+% of everybody getting disqualified out of it. Who knows? Whatever you want to see happen with your student loans, it's just not going to happen until we, the people, get the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy back on our side, back in our corner. So I'm going to look for your questions and comments now, guys. If you're watching us on Facebook and or Twitter, I'm very happy to respond. Yeah, we're taking a lot of hits in the media, we're taking a lot of hits from the Democrats right now. So they are particularly worried about this new thing that Ron DeSantis introduced into the public conversation. Of course, it's not new if you've been on this group for any length of time, like 18 years. But anyhow, yeah, we're glad to see it. And I see, okay, there I am. Yeah, we're getting hit very hard by the Democrats. And that's really too bad, too. You know, the Democrats, how do I say this? Remember when Hillary Clinton's stunning loss in 2016 and everybody was just so freaked out. They just, in disbelief, people were just, I mean, people who wanted Hillary were just absolutely stunned. Well, if you actually look at like her position on student loans, for example, it was swampified. Hillary Clinton used to be great, by the way. We worked closely with Hillary Clinton's staff when she was in the Senate in 2007. But by the time she ran for president in 2016, her student loan platform had been swampified. It had been child-proofed. It had been made just lame and tame. And you know, the reason Hillary lost that election wasn't because Trump was so great. Trump was dog shit. I mean, nobody could believe he won, a rascal like that, right? The reason she lost, and I can't speak to the other issues, but certainly on the student loan issue, she was faking it. She was. And so here now we are. And that was like what? 7 years ago now. And here, the Democrats apparently just completely failed and are still failing to recognize their policy deficiencies. And we're seeing it right now. Instead of saying, oh, yeah, we really screwed up. We really should have returned bankruptcy, which they just recently betrayed us on viciously. Instead of doing the right thing, they double down on their dog shit policy positions. And what they end up doing is attacking the messenger. So I'm pointing out loudly and proudly, and to whoever will listen, that the Democrats betrayed us last session. That's true. They did. That doesn't mean the Republicans are great. The Republicans are fucking evil. But we're not talking about the Republicans right now. We're talking about the Democrats. The Democrats promised to return bankruptcy. They had the chance to do it, and they just fucking stabbed us in the eyeball, pardon my French. And people need to know about that. And the Democrats, instead of saying, okay, all right, good point. Yeah, we get it. And changing? No. They double down on this dog shit betrayal. And, you know, we're even seeing people, these blue no matter who people are starting to speak out against bankruptcy, which is ridiculous. Returning bankruptcy has been in the DNC platform for the past 7 years. And so these people wind up attacking the messenger, attacking me. And it's been getting really disgusting lately. But it's just Twitter. I can rise above it. These are primarily kids. I think a lot of them are probably on the payroll to the Democratic Party, but whatever the case may be, I can say, I will say, if any Democrats are watching, particularly any Democrats in leadership, particularly any Democrats in leadership at the DNC, if you are paying people to further denigrate and alienate student loan borrowers who saw what happened over the past 3.5 years with Biden's lame, feckless cancellation and with the Democrats' betrayal of us on bankruptcy, don't gaslight us. If you want to bring us back into the party, you fucking do something on the policy side to make us trust you again. And if you want to pay hitmen, little henchmen to attack me, and by extension, all the student loan borrowers that I fight for, that's a great way to lose ever more elections by ever wider margins. And it's pretty hard to do given that the Republicans are as evil as they are. But hey, I'm telling you, if you people want to spend your money wisely, you'll change your policy. And I don't know what you want to pay these henchmen to do, but attacking me is exactly the wrong thing to do. If you care about winning elections. And at this point, I'm not so sure that they do, but whatever. So we've got a bunch of comments here tonight. I'm going to try and get to all of them if I possibly can. I see Christina Winton's with us tonight from Arizona. Hey, Christina. Christina says, having Facebook issues, apparently. Yeah, we get that. We have been shadow banned. We're probably the OG for shadow banning, guys. I don't know why, but people who follow us on Twitter, they find themselves getting suspended for retweeting our stuff. On Facebook, we're by and large invisible. Nobody can ever see our stuff in their feeds. That's been true for many, many years now. That's just the lay of the land, guys. We've accepted it. Word of mouth is really the only good way that we have to grow and strengthen our little group here, guys. We've got over 1.4 million people now on paper, at least, when you include the 1.2 million people on our petition. And that is certainly a very great muscle to flex, guys. But, on any given day, I don't see more than a few hundred people doing anything. So word of mouth and actually owning this problem is what's going to get this thing done, dudes. I think I probably say it every night, but it's true. We're all we've got. You can't count on anybody, any of the talking heads, any of the politicians, any writers in the mainstream media. None of those people are on our side, guys. The only people that we can count on is us. And if you're not fighting, then we're losing. So I asked at the top of the broadcast that we're asking everybody to get us into meetings with their House reps. What have you done to make that happen? Chances are you haven't done a damn thing. And that is exactly the way we lose. So again, get us into a meeting with your House rep. Look down at the thing scrolling below, and you can see. You can see for yourself how that goes. Anybody can do it who lives in their district. We do not. You do. So you're a constituent. Only you can make that meeting happen. Make it happen. We would like to meet with all 535 members of Congress. We've done pretty good with the Senate, but we still need to meet far, far, far more senators. We're still probably not even 20% of Congress that we've met with yet, guys. Probably not even 15%. That's not going to win this battle for us, guys. You have got to get us into a meeting with your House rep. And that's just so important. So Derek Williams is with us from North Carolina tonight. Derek says, yes, hey, listen, if someone calls you taking a poll, don't crap on Ron DeSantis. No, do the opposite of that. It's very important that the concept of bankruptcy for student loans spreads throughout Republican America. And if Ron DeSantis goes up in the polls over the next couple of weeks, that will really be great legitimacy, great for us. I think he will. But if you get asked for your opinion of him, say something very nice. I actually donated that guy $15 today. I almost never donate to political candidates, but I donated $15 to him earlier today. So that's. So Derek says further, just because you're a Democrat, don't bash on Ron DeSantis, or if you don't like him, if they ask your opinion, tell them that you didn't care for him before, but since he said he wants to return bankruptcy rights to student loan borrowers, that you like him a lot more than you did before. Yeah, and that's true. And that's true for me. I had no good opinion of Ron DeSantis before last week. And now he's our NBFF, our new best friend forever. Derek goes on, he says, the thing about the cancellation Trump did was that it was for veterans. Taking any stance against veterans is political suicide. Right, that's true. And, that just goes to show you how politics play the overriding role in the student loan issue. Trump does it for veterans, not a whimper of protest from anyone. Biden does it for everyone, and Biden's thing was lame. Don't make any mistakes. Make no mistake. But the way Biden did it, he was doing it for politics. He was doing it for votes. Notice how he rolled it out just a month or two before the election, the midterms. And all of a sudden it's political football. All of a sudden politics override everything, including that Supreme Court case, by the way. Christina Winton says, oh, geez, we've got a ton of comments here. Not sure whether it's true or not, but DeSantis made some polarizing comments threatening some violence and is turning people against him that are taking political sides. Yeah, I don't really care about all the politics around anything. All I care about is student loans, guys. I'm not going to go off into the weeds here, talking about stuff other than student loans. And Nicholas Linky from Utah. Hey, Nicholas. Nicholas also has gotten at least 2, I think, letters to the editor and other stuff published in local newspapers in Utah, which is a very important state for us. Nicholas says, yes, folks, your judiciary staffers are just kids, and they are. Most of them are fresh out of college. Don't let them intimidate you. Do not let them intimidate you from scheduling a meeting, Nicholas says. And I agree completely. So there's I see a lot more back and forth going on about Ron DeSantis. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's Friday night. I've gone on. I tried to go for 20 minutes, but it looks like we're approaching 30. Just remember, guys, we have new legs. We have a new breath of life thanks to this Ron DeSantis rascal. And good for him. Good for us, I should say. We need to strike while the iron is hot, guys. If you actually want to get this problem solved, not pretend. If you actually want to get your student loans handled, we've got to get bankruptcy rights back. And the most important thing is that you sitting there, you can't be a wallflower. Nobody can pull your weight for you. Not Nicholas, not Christina, not me, not anybody else I see in the live stream tonight. Not Derek, only you. Only you can pull your own weight. This is a working, fighting group. And by the way, you're not better than us. You are not better than us. We need you here in the trenches with us, helping us fight. It feels good to fight. It's cathartic. The Constitution is on our side. And as corny as it may sound, your country actually needs you on this. So just please remember that. I'll be back on Sunday. The last thing I'll say, first thing I said, last thing, just to bookend it, and please donate. Just please donate. So I can shut up about it, dudes. Just please donate. Okay. I'll see you on Sunday. Good luck. Godspeed. And God bless.